As the East and West Shrine Bowl are played and the Senior Bowl just finished, I think we need to talk about how some of these players that just got done playing college football translate to the NFL and what the buzz is around Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and any of these quarterbacks that did play in the Senior Bowl or East-West Shrine Bowl. And can they push them for QB1? What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching the #1 college football show, welcome. Thank you for joining us here. Hit that subscribe button. It costs nothing. It's a follow button. Like the video, comment, tell me whether or not you think Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, Dillon Gabriel, any of them are QB1 and why. I would love to know. We talk college football 24/7, 365 around here. That means also the NFL draft as it relates to college football players. Not necessarily where guys are going to get picked, but having covered the sport for half my life, being a national college football analyst at Fox Sports, I spend most of my time thinking about, talking to people about what they think about the game and the players in it, and valuations are a big part of this. It's fun for me because as NFL folks are getting introduced to players that we have quite literally known since, in some ways, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, they're just getting to know them. So guys that we know are really good, we'll tell them about. Guys that we're about, we'll probably do that too. I think what's always interesting about the Senior Bowl is not who the stars are, right? It is who is the guy that a draftnik is going to point out and go, that dude. Who is the guy who's going to make his rise out of not obscurity because it's an all-star game, but certainly a guy that was a star on his team, but not necessarily a star at the national level. I'm thinking about guys like Brashard Smith, a wide receiver who moved to tailback at SMU and had a breakout season on a team that made the college football playoff and made the ACC championship game. I'm talking about Ollie Gordon, who won the Doak Walker Award 2023, thought to be the best tailback in the sport entering 2024. That went out the window because, one, Oklahoma State was bad, like real bad, like offensively bad. And Ollie Gordon wasn't great. And then he comes into this game, and he's able to remind people what kind of a tailback he can be. He also threw his whole arm into a pass downfield, which I thought was funny because Ollie played quarterback in high school before he was recruited to play tailback at Oklahoma State. And you could see, oh, okay, so running quarterback, triple option kind of dude, right? Yeah, but it was really a great play that was made by Jay Higgins in coverage that I thought was worth talking about. Another guy who is a star at Iowa State, not necessarily a star on the national level, breaking out. Jack Besh, another dude who's outstanding as a tight end. I love his quote. I don't think of those jump balls, 50-50 balls. I think of them as 75-25 balls. I'm coming down with that. I like that. What did they say? That's what Jack Besh does. I love listening to Charles Davis and Daniel Jeremiah talk ball. Same reason I like listening to Joel talk ball. Guys that know it. Greg Olson knows it. You know, guys that are really the best at what they do and really love the game, talking about the scheme and the X's and O's and the Jimmies and Joes. That's where I live and breathe. I love doing that stuff, man. It's why I'm also interested in how people are talking about Dillon Gabriel, Jackson Dart, Riley Leonard, Tyler Shuck in the Senior Bowl. In large part because the thought is one of those guys is going to be QB3, QB4, might not even get drafted. It's kind of funny because watching Riley Leonard, who was 6-7 in the first half and looked fine, I get kind of a weird vibe about his NFL prospects. This is a guy that a lot of people could talk themselves into because he led Notre Dame to a national championship berth. But if you watch Notre Dame play football, you would know Riley Leonard throwing the football ain't really part of the plan. I mean, they do it, and he did it, right? But that was a run-first football team, and they used him particularly as a run-oriented player. I look at a guy like Riley Leonard, and I ask, in earnest, quarterback, yeah, sure. I could see him making an NFL roster. Could just as easily end up being like Sam Hartman, but for different reasons, just not make it into the league and may end up in the UFL or something like it. I also think that's a guy that could probably catch passes if you asked him to do it, kind of like we were thinking about Tim Tebow, but I get it. Quarterback. I'm not trying to move him off of it. I'm just saying that I look at Jackson Dart and I see something different. However, the thing about Dart's game is he plays in a system that the NFL calls college because it does not have NFL principles and it does not have NFL characteristics. They don't huddle at Ole Miss. They go fast at Ole Miss. They don't go under center at Ole Miss. These are not things that translate easily to the NFL, where everybody is fast and everybody is strong and everybody can get after you. And if you don't have control of the huddle, the cadence, and you are uncomfortable taking the ball from center, it's not going to make us feel good about having you in something like a, quote, pro-style offense, right? I think everybody's got to be able to take snaps from center in the NFL. Whether you think you do or not, you need to. So you look at a guy like Dylan Gabriel, who's played in a bunch of different systems, but each one of those systems has also been quarterback friendly and never really asked him to play under center at all. It was a read field, see field throw, right? He can do those things. It's why he got a 7th round grade last year, wins a Big Ten championship, makes the college football playoffs, leads the team to the Rose Bowl, only to get beat down by Ohio State. Tyler Shuck, just been playing a lot of football for a very long time. Another guy that I think could end up in the Riley Leonard tier. All this is to say, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders have separated in a way that I find interesting, right? One, they're better than Will Howard, though Will Howard led his team to Ohio State to the national championship. I'm sure Ohio State fans got something to say about that, given what Will Howard showed in the playoffs, and I can get there. But if you're an NFL team, are you looking to take Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, and why? The reason I think you would take Cam Ward is because of something that Shannon Dawson identified when he first was recruiting him to Miami and understood what he could be. This is a great quote that he gave to Jeremy Fowler that I'm going to read to you. The reason I thought Jaden Daniels had a great rookie season is when it wasn't there, he could make a play. And Cam has that same ability. He's not going to be a guy that the speed of the game is going to affect him a lot in his timing. And when it does break down, because NFL defensive lines are elite, he's going to be able to save the play. I think Jaden Daniels is coming up a lot because, Jaden Daniels won the Heisman Trophy in 2023, translated directly to the NFL, took that team past perhaps the best team in the NFC, right? Or what we thought was the best team in the NFC. Obviously, that's not true. It's Philadelphia Eagles at this point. But the Eagles ain't have to go through Detroit because Washington went through Detroit and went through them like a knife through hot butter. Like, it was, I know that the Lions put up some points, but Jaden Daniels was doing anything he wanted out there as a rookie. Certainly the best rookie season that we have seen from a quarterback in my lifetime. Perhaps the best rookie season that we've seen from anybody in my lifetime. I still think that you're going to do, it's real hard to look past a guy like Jim Brown and look past guys like Barry Sanders and down the line of the greats of our sport, the demigods of our sport, the guys that it feels like Zeus came down, told their mama that they liked him, had the Bible, and then came back with, here's my Hercules playing football. Those guys, right? Barry Sanders and Jim Brown being those kinds of dudes. Jaden Daniels has the ability to be calm, to be collected, and to go make a play when a play needs to be made, and to get himself out of trouble. That's what Cam Ward can allow for you. I also think him playing at Washington State, playing at Miami is going to help. Now, he didn't play a bunch of under center either, except in high school when they basically were running a wing tee. And incarnate word, he's throwing the ball all over the yard. Shedeur has had to do a little bit of all of that, but Shedeur has played in a system that has asked him to be the focal point. Like, I look at Shedeur Sanders the way that a lot of people used to look at Warren Moon, because it was in the run and shoot, it was, hey, big dog, we going to need you to complete some passes out here because we can't be trusted to run the football. That's just what it is. I'm going to need you to find somebody wide open. I'm going to need you to keep this play alive because we're not going to be able to find nobody that can run the football. He might get into the situation like that as a rookie. But his not playing and Cam Ward's not playing in these all-star games, I think, has helped them tremendously because it's reinforcing that you go look at their tape and their tape separates from what you've seen Senior Bowl. Now, the NFL draft is, I quite literally think it's a dice roll. Like, I was stomping up and down trying to yell at anybody going, why are you talking about Trey Lance this way? What has he done? And it's like, he's won. Doing what, though? Like the kind of offensive scheme he was playing in, Christian Watson was a star. Was it Trey Lance? And it tells me a lot that Mike McCarthy never once wanted to pull the trigger on Trey Lance, even though he traded the Niners to go get him. And then Brock Purdy beat out Trey Lance, who they drafted, and they feel good about it. And nobody looks bad for that decision. Anytime you take a top 5 prospect and you can immediately replace him with the last guy selected in the NFL draft, that's a bad look. That's a bad look for him. That's what you're trying to get away from if you are an NFL team. That's why these evaluations, specifically at quarterback, matter so much. You can't afford to miss this, especially when Washington hits on Jaden Daniels like they did. You can't have that, right? You can't have a Justin Fields on the bench. You can't have Mac Jones doing next to nothing and then being traded as a first-round pick to the damn Jacksonville Jaguars to back up what is, I think, a franchise quarterback if ever Liam Cohen can get that dude in the right spot in Trevor Lawrence. Down the line, right? I think that these guys have been helped. I think they will continue to be helped in the NFL draft process. And it'll be interesting to find out which one of these guys goes off the board first. But right now, I feel like NFL folks want you to pick Cam. And I feel like there's a lot of college football folks that want you to pick Cam. But if you gave Shedeur Sanders the kind of run game that Cam Ward had at Miami, would he be as effective? I think so, right? I keep going back to this. You take one, I'll take the other. I think those are the clear top two quarterbacks in this NFL draft class. And the Senior Bowl and East-West Shrine game just reinforced that for me.